Hi guys, welcome to another video. Now what if I was to tell you that for under £50 it's possible to buy a brand new medium format film camera, a roll of medium format black and white film, and to also get it processed and scanned and still have some change left. Impossible you would think? Nope. Anything is possible with a Holga. So what exactly is a Holga? Well, a Holga is essentially a plastic toy camera. And it's got something of a cult status, and a lot of famous photographers using it, including one of my personal favourite heroes, and that's Michael Kenner, he's got to be one of the kings of black and white. So I'm going to unbox it, and then we'll have a look at it. So, as you can see, totally brand new from Amazon. There's not much to the packaging. There's not much to the camera, to be fair. And that's it. A plastic box, essentially, with a plastic lens and a shutter. And really, there's not much else to say. They are called toy cameras for a reason. You know, they are built essentially like toys. But that's the reason why they're so cheap, but it's also the reason why they're quite fun. Apparently. This is the first time I've used one, so I've come to Brimham Rocks and I'm going to load a roll of film, which may be a challenge in its own right, and then we're going to head out and we're just going to have a bit of a play and talk about the camera. Now I'm going to apologise in advance if this part of the video is a bit like watching paint dry, because I've never done this before. It could all totally go wrong. So let's have a look what we've got. We've got some sort of clips to hold the film back, which honestly I'm not entirely sure how they work. Oh, okay, there's a slide. Oh, that's simple. Right, see, just slide up and down, and in theory, aha, voila, we have the inside of the camera, and we have that. So now we need a roll of film. I've ordered my film from Analog Wonderland, which I have to say did a wonderful job of fast delivery. And there's my paid for receipt to get back to them. So anyway, lovely box. Put that there. I'm loading HP5, which is an ISO 400 film. See, you have none of this with digital, do you? Digital, you can just sort of set the auto ISO and let it happen, but you know, I'm shooting film. And that feels weird in its own right, just saying it. Comes in a nice foil for those of you who've never loaded medium format film. I have, it's been a while, but I have done it in the past. I think it comes with two masks, so it can shoot 6x4.5 or 6x6. I want to do 6x6, so that's all I'm concerned about. Take this off. Now, any film users out there, if I'm making a right mess of this, I do apologise. Now, this is a bit fiddly. It looks like it just sort of goes in. I'm hoping you can see that. Oh, okay. So what we need to do now is pull that out. And I'm trying to fit it into the take-up reel there. Okay, there we have it, see? I've got my concerns about that. Not a good start to my film adventures, is having a concern. Okay, that's not working, is it? I suspect some of you are actually screaming at the screen at the moment, saying, Jason, you're doing it wrong. Which would be justifiable, really. Okay, that looks better. It's turning. Make sure it's nice and tight. So now, let's set on 12. I get this pathetic mechanism back on. That's not good, is it? I can see why people tape it up. And now I'm hoping you can see this little red square there. Can you see that? If you can, you're better than me. Okay, oh. Okay, something's happening. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see there. One. So in theory, that's it. Good to shoot. Well, it's not the nicest weather for using a new camera, but it's plastic. There's very little in it mechanical. Now, all I've had to check is at the bottom, I'm not sure you can see there, there's a B and N dialer. So one side says N and one side says B. Basically, this is for the shutter. B is the bulb mode. Now, I'm not going to get clever and start using that today. It's going to be hard enough just getting by with everything else. So I've set it to N, which is just a normal shutter. And if we look at the top of the lens, there's a very simple, I'm not sure if you can see it, there's a very simple focusing mechanism, which goes from one person, which is going to be like probably about 3 feet away, to a mountain, which is affinity. So with a bit of guesswork in between. As I said before, the shutter is there. I'm not going to press it because it will take a shot. And there's a little viewfinder there. And really there's nothing else to the camera, so it's a case of just putting it in my bag, going for the walk, and hoping I actually get some shots. Right, this looks like a great first subject. So, what do I need to do before I start shooting? Well, one thing I have to keep in mind is there's a little slider on the top which has got a sun on it and a cloud on it, and that's about as far as my aperture is going to go. So I believe the cloudy will be f8, sunny will be f11. I'll go for cloudy, I think. Take the lens cap off and then I'll take a shot. And that's it. Now all I need to do is put my glasses on so I can actually see if I can wind it on to number 2. And believe me, that's not the easiest thing in the world to do. I'm just going to try a couple of different angles, if nothing else, just to edge my bets. And I realised I didn't particularly focus then. I don't think it'll make much of a difference, but I'll retake it. Honestly, I had zero faith in that shot. Zero. I'm not sure if I'm winding it on properly. I'm not sure if I'm focusing properly. I'm not sure if I'm choosing the right aperture. Perhaps I just have to get over that. Perhaps I just have to remember that I'm using a toy film camera. And one thing has occurred to me, I've just taken 3, maybe 4 shots there, and that's a third of a roll. So what on earth am I playing at? So I'm going to carry on walking. I'm going to slow down a little bit, and I'm going to try and find some more compositions. Right, there's an interesting sky behind me. Lens cap off. And I'm going to go on the rocks. I'm going to see what I can do. Definitely infinity, this one. Definitely 100%. Oh, okay. Now what to do? Do I go... Oh, I don't know. I'm going to go to the sunny setting. I may regret this. That's another one. Okay, so it's quite interesting again. I quite like the tree you've got going on here, so I've put it to the f8. Or focus on the group of people that don't exist. Oh, it looks nicer. Out of all the shots, that's the one so far that I feel happy with. Okay, I'm halfway through. It's really frustrating having to keep putting glasses on just simply so I can see the back when I wind it on to the next number, but that's the way it is. Anyway, these rocks look great. Bit of a quandary because they've got sun on. Everything else is shade. I'm going to go to the sunny setting and I'm going to try and find myself a nice composition. Well, trying to find a composition would be good. This lens just isn't wide enough. That's one thing that's really striking for me. It's just not wide. Now, because these lenses have a tendency of really vignetting, which is half of the Holga charm, I'm trying to put my main subjects pretty much smack bang in the frame, which with a 6x6 square composition is all right really, but yeah, I'm just sort of throwing any composition guidelines out of the window. Well, I potentially really cocked up then because I couldn't remember if after taking that shot, if I'd wound on or not. So the choice was taking another shot and actually effectively double exposing or winding on and playing safe. I've wound on and played safe. Anyway, I'm going to go for this one now. Oh, I wish this lens was wider. The thing that's really striking me is because I've only got 12 shots and I've potentially knackered one of those up already. You know, this is costing money. And effectively the roller film and scanning is coming to around £17, something like that. So, you know, what's that? Roughly £1.50 a shot. So to have lost one, or maybe not lost it, it's hard. But anyway, I'm going to wait for the light to hit these rocks and then take it. While that's happening, I'm going to have a bit of a recce. I say these really aren't ideal conditions for your first time shooting film in years with a new camera, which happens to be a toy camera. So I've got no sort of feedback, I've got no sort of anything going on, and I know that's half the charm. It's also half the frustration. Right, quite a nice little spot this. I think the light's fading quite quickly, so I'm going to try and get something here. Again, I'm shooting at f8. I'm not really sure if this is right. I'm hoping there's going to be enough latitude in the film to sort of compensate for all the mistakes I'm making, but we'll see. As you've probably guessed, I'm struggling a little bit. I'm struggling to get a composition I'm really pleased with. And I'm not sure if that's the viewfinder, which is a bit rubbish, plastic like everything else, or if it's the restriction of the focal length, or if it's just the user. Probably just the user. Definitely the user. It's not simple, is it? But what I would say is by having some of the choices taken away, it means the thing I'm finding not simple is my composition, because I'm not really sure what I'm going to get. Focusing's a bit guessworky. I think the aperture's not going to make a lot of difference either way, so I'm not too worried about that. And remembering to wind on. Anyway, I'm going to go over there. I wish there was some more light, and the light's really let me down, but I'm going to see what I can do. This rock is wonderful. This lens isn't wide enough. Right, it's amazing location. I'm really regretting having used virtually all of my film. I've got 2 shots left. I've got to make them count. It's just incredible. It's incredible. Is using a toy camera suited to fast changing sort of scenarios this time of day? Probably not. But still, it's fun. Right, this could be my favourite shot if it comes out. Can you see the tree just clinging there? I'm going to get myself underneath, I'm going to try and shoot up, and I'm going to hope for the best. That wasn't an easy shot. That was not easy at all. It would have been nice to be able to take the shot and change angles. Perhaps I should have bought a tripod to slow things down, but you know, it's a toy camera. Glasses on. And I'm just loving these trees here. And I'm not sure if the lens is just going to be wide enough to do it. It's touch and go, it's really touch and go. And the problem is, as I come back, I'm losing my composition. Right, last shot. I'm going to keep this one really simple. That rock, I think it's mushroom rock. I could be wrong. I'm going to get photographed anyway. And I'm just going to put it central frame. Playing safe on this one. And if it's all gone to plan, put my glasses on again just so I can wind it. If it's all gone to plan, I'm going to pull this back and some things I've noted. As the roll has come further onto the take-up spool here, I feel like the back's lifting off. That's never good, is it? I'm sure it isn't, perhaps. These are prone to light leaks, and I think in future I will put some tape round it. Also, these clips I don't really trust. Again, I think I'll tape over them. But you know, it's been fun, and if any of the photos have turned out, I'll put them on the screen now.